going to do notes today, and we're going to do section 5 and 6 because section 5 is really short and we don't really do a lot with it. I go over it so you guys know, but we don't really do much. It's not on the test or anything at the end. So let's just get into it and look at this section really fast. So we're going to look at polymers, and the prefix poly means many. So they're very large molecules made up of many of the same subunits, or what they're called repeating units. They can be made from reactions of small alkenes. So if you look here, we have polyethylene, and it's just the same subunit, that repeated over and over and over. If you look at this one, it's this subunit, repeated over and over and over. So that's a polymer. This one is a little bit different. It has CH3 instead of a chlorine, but it's just repeated over and over again. Same with these. So that's all a polymer really is. It's just repeating subunits. We have synthetic polymers, which means that we have made them. Synthetic means made. So if you look here, there's like our plastic bottles, vinyl chloride, which is water hose, that material that your water hoses are made out of. Polypropylene, some t-shirt material there, different t-shirt type material. Tetrafluoroethene is some coatings on some of our pots and pans. So this is just some of the polymers that we use in everyday life. All right, so I am not going to there's a learning check here, and it says, what is the starting monomer for polyethylene? I am not going to make you guys remember that stuff. So if you look here, I think it's back here, polyethylene, where was it? I didn't see it, but anyways, I'm not going to make you know that. It would just be ethylene, so CH2. So basically, if you see that word, poly, it just means you have many ethylenes, many eth, which eth means two. So that's how they came up with the C there. That's how they knew it was going to be ethene. All right, and that's all for section 5. That's why I was just going to throw this in real quick with section 6 because it is super short. So let's get into section 6 here. And these are aromatic hydrocarbons, and an aromatic hydrocarbon means it's got a ring structure. So we call this ring structure benzene, and you can write it in two different ways. We see one here, and I may be jumping ahead of myself a little bit, but we see one here. It's basically a hexagon. It has 6 sides, but you can see where they have these lines. This is a double bond. There's a double bond on every other carbon. All right, so you can, it has 2 possible. They're showing 2 possible. Do you see how I put a double bond here? You could just, remember, this is 3D space. I could pick this ring up and rotate it. And if I did that, it would rotate to have my double bonds in those locations. So that's why either one of those works and is okay. Gosh, if you take this in college or anything, you will have an organic chemistry. It got to the point where we were like, when you're in doubt, the answer is benzene. Because you see a benzene ring so many times and so many things. So it can also be written like this. You can write that hexagon with a circle in the middle, and that it represents a benzene ring. That circle is representing those alternating double bonds. So now I'll tell them, I don't know if you're at home, if you are keeping up with your periodic table, but I will let them write these 2 structures down on theirs and just be like, hey, this is benzene, this is what it can look like. All right, so this is some of the things that we use aromatic compounds for. Aspirin is a huge one. Aspirin, ibuprofen, they're in there. Now, it's not just a benzene ring by itself. It's a benzene ring with other things coming off of it, and that's why we spent so much time in college on these things, because you can have so many different types of benzene rings. But obviously, aspirin, ibuprofen, something that a lot of people use. Vanilla, that flavoring or the scent, that has a benzene ring in it. All right, so how we name these things. So what we're going to do is we end it with benzene. The benzene is the parent chain. That benzene ring will be our parent chain, and then we have side groups coming off of it, and we're going to name them like we did our chains coming off of our main, like alkanes, alkenes. So when I had like 2-methyl pentene, well, now I might have 2-methyl benzene. So if you're looking at this, since I can pick this thing up and I can rotate it however I want to. This, wherever my methyl group is, that I consider carbon 1. So it's just methylbenzene. You can put 1 methyl if you want to, but if you don't have to. When you don't put a number there, we assume that it's on carbon 1. Now I could draw this, and you'll see me draw mine this way a lot of times. I could draw it like this with the CH3. This is the same thing as this. They are the same. So it does not matter. It doesn't have to be coming off the top there. I can rotate my benzene ring. I can put that methyl wherever. So you can see if it's not a methyl group and I have a chlorine, it's just chlorobenzene. Once again, you can tell me it's 1-chloro, but you do not have to. All right, when 2 groups are attached to benzene, the ring is numbered to give the lower numbers to the side groups. All right, so I'm not gonna, like on this one, I'm not gonna start here and go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give these numbers to my side groups. I could go 1, 2. Now on this one, I could also go 1, 2. No matter which way I go, it's gonna be named the same thing. If I can, I just always start at the top. So you can see where this is 1, 2, dimethyl. None of that has changed. That's still named the same. But then you just end it with benzene. Over here, 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm not going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because that takes longer, right? I want to number the quickest route. So that's why this one is 1,3-dichlorobenzene. And then if you look at this one, they're going to give number 1 because look, I could make this 1, 2, 3, 4, or I could have went 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to, once again, I think I said this when we were reviewing, you're going to give that first carbon to the alphabetical order leader then at that point, so that's why this is going to be 1. So 1-chloro, 4-methylbenzene. All right, so here's something. So if you notice, I was going to say it back here. This, having a CH3, just a single CH3, can change the name. If that was there and this wasn't, or even if it is there, it changes the name. So this is called toluene because it happens and occurs so much, it has its own name. So you can see here how we name that then. 3-chlorotoluene. Now I have some kids that like to do that because when you do that, that tells you, if you call this thing toluene, you are numbering that as number 1 right there. Same here. Before, this would have been 1-chloro-3-methylbenzene. Well, if you call it toluene, this becomes number 1. So there's no question where your number 1 is coming from. So 3, that's 1, 2, 3, 3-chlorotoluene. Let's see. And then on the end here, I'll have them write this down on something also. I'll have them write a benzene ring with an OH. That's an alcohol group, but when it is on a benzene, we call it phenol. So it would be like 2-chlorophenol because that OH is going to be carbon number 1. Oh, and I forgot to tell you this. Can't believe I forgot to tell you this. Each of these little spaces is a carbon. Okay, so it's like carbon, 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 carbon. So it's like that really, but that looks kind of messy to write. So we just draw the structure. I'm sorry, I should have told you that at the beginning. All right, so learning check. Select the correct name for each structure. So we're going to look, and they don't have any toluenes in the names up here, so we're just going straight benzene. So if you look at the first one, I just have a chloro, and it is chlorobenzene. Now, they are saying it will be this. This is also okay. If you write 1-chlorobenzene, that is fine. It's still the right thing. On this one down here, once again, I can number either way. It's going to be the same, so I'm just going to do this. So it's 1,3-dimethylbenzene. Now, I could have said it is 3-methyltoluene. I could have said that also, and that would have been correct. See up here, they're saying that this one's correct. If you would have put a 1 there, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Not in here. Now, like if you're going to be a chemist later on in life, yeah, then you'll want to do what everybody else is doing, but it's still the same thing. It means the same thing. All right, now we're going to do the writing of the structures. So, as soon as I see benzene, and you guys will probably get so sick and tired of having to draw these, and I'm not great at drawing them, but I'm going to draw my benzene ring, and remember, either do that or this, either way. And now I can decide which one is 1. I can make my number 1 carbon right here, and I could say, okay, 1,3-dichloro, so chloro 1. I could go 2, 3 and put a chlorine right here, or I could go 1, 2, 3 and put a chlorine here. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to show you, here's one way to write this, and that's why there's so much freedom with these benzene rings that yours may not look like somebody else's, but it may be the exact same thing. I'm going to say that this is my number 1 carbon, and we go 1, 2, 3 and put a chlorine here. That is also 1,3-dichlorobenzene. All right, so let's look at this one. Here's a toluene. So when I go to draw this main structure, I'm going to automatically put a CH3 because that right there, that makes that toluene. I about forgot my circle. That right there makes it toluene. Now this becomes carbon number 1. So I'm going to go 1, 2. I always go clockwise, but once again, it doesn't matter because I can flip and rotate this thing however I want to. So I could go 1, 2 if I wanted to. But I'm going to put my chlorine right there. That is 2-chlorotoluene. And that is it for that section. So you guys will get a worksheet soon. I believe it's tomorrow. I'm filming all my videos early before the weeks even happen. So I'm trying to look here. Yeah, we'll do the notes, and then you guys will have a worksheet tomorrow that we'll go over in class together. I'll have them do it, and then we'll go over it as a class. And for Friday's homework, you'll have the worksheet that is for an actual grade. That first one's always participation. If you need anything from me, let me know, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.